other side.
My name is Emily Carter, and at 32, I've spent nearly my entire life carrying the weight of a promise I made when I was too young to understand its cost. My younger sister, Lily, is 24 now, a bright, ambitious woman with dreams bigger than our small Midwest town of Willow Creek could ever hold. But to me, she'll always be the tiny bundle I cradled the day our world shattered. Our parents died in a car crash when I was 9, just 3 days after Lily was born. A drunk driver, a rain-soaked highway, and a head-on collision stole them from us, leaving me and a newborn in the care of our grandmother, a kind but frail woman who did her best until she passed when I was 16. From that moment, I became Lily's everything, her sister, her mother, her provider. I'm a nurse at St. Mary's Hospital, working 12-hour shifts in the year, where the chaos of blood, pain, and fear is my daily reality. The job is brutal, cleaning wounds, holding hands through last breaths, and trying not to let the weight of it all follow me home. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment above a laundromat. The constant hum of dryers my only companion after long nights. My meals are instant noodles, canned soup, or whatever's cheapest at the grocery store. My bad knee, ignored for years because physical therapy costs too much, aches with every step, a reminder of the sacrifices I've made. I don't complain, though. I made a promise to Grandma to raise Lily right, to give her the life our parents would have wanted. That promise has defined me. Lily was my reason to keep going. When I was 15, I worked jobs waitressing at Rosie's Diner and stocking shelves at Harper's Pharmacy to buy her diapers, clothes, and school supplies. I'd come home with blisters on my feet, counting tips to afford her formula. At 18, I enrolled in nursing school, juggling classes with night shifts at a nursing home to keep us afloat. That's where I met Sarah Mitchell, my best friend, my lifeline. We bonded during a brutal rotation, both of us broke and exhausted, sharing instant coffee and dreams we couldn't afford. Sarah's the kind of friend who doesn't keep score. She'd show up with a pizza when I was too tired to cook, or sit with me in silence when the weight of life felt too heavy. By 21, I was a registered nurse, pulling double shifts to pay for Lily's private school. She was bright, with a spark that made teachers love her, and I wanted her to have opportunities I never did. I paid for her violin lessons, her summer camps, her new laptop when she got accepted into college for business administration, my own dreams, a small house, a trip to a beach where the water's warm faded into the background. Every extra dollar went to Lily. My supervisor, Maria, noticed me limping during a shift one night. "Knee still bothering you?" she asked, her eyes kind but concerned. I admitted I was saving for Lily's tuition, not my health. She shook her head. "You're raising your sister alone, Emily, and you can't even walk without pain. That math doesn't add up." Growing up, it was always about Lily. When I needed new shoes, I got hand-me-downs from thrift stores. When Lily needed them, I worked overtime to buy her Nikes. Our uncle, Tom, a retired mechanic who spent his weekends restoring old cars, was the only one who saw the imbalance. "You're getting the short end, kid," he'd say in his gravelly voice, handing me a wrench in his garage. He taught me how to change oil, replace spark plugs, and troubleshoot engines. When no one else had time for me, I started working. At 15, bussing tables to pay for gas for my beat-up Chevy. Lily got a new bike for her 10th birthday, paid for with my diner tips. I never resented her. Then she was a kid, my kid sister, and I wanted her to have what I could in single quotes T. Sarah became my anchor. We met on a freezing night shift in nursing school, both assigned to an understaffer. I was struggling to stay awake, my hands shaking from a double shift, when Sarah slipped me half her sandwich. "Eat," she said, no explanation needed. That was it. We've been splitting sandwiches ever since. She'd call me out when I sent Lily money for emergencies that were really just concert tickets or new clothes. "She's taking advantage of you," Sarah would say, her voice gentle but firm. I brushed it off. Lily was family. She'd grow up, get her degree, and make it all worth it. I believed that. Or at least I wanted to. By 28, I'd saved $35,000. A small miracle built from years of overtime and skipped meals. Sarah and I found a 1960 Camaro in a junkyard, rusted but with good bones. The owner, an old farmer named Hank, sold it to us for $1,500, $900 from me, $600 from Sarah. We parked it in a corner of Sarah's apartment complex lot and spent Sundays fixing it up. New fuel lines, a rebuilt carburetor, patched floors. It was our escape, a tangible dream we built with our hands. We'd laugh over greasy parts, blasting music cut. Planning the day we drive it down a country road. But then Lily's emergencies started piling up. Asterisk, she flunked out of her first college after 2 years of partying, blowing through the tuition I'd paid. I offered to fund a fresh start at a new school, thinking it was a one-time fix. It wasn't. Tuition payments, rent, car repairs, my savings dwindled. The Camaro sat under a tarp, untouched, as I canceled garage days with Sarah to cover Lily's latest crisis. That car's your life in a nutshell, Sarah said one night, pointing at the tarp as we drove past. All that potential, stuck because you're carrying Lily's weight. I worked 16-hour shifts, sometimes back to back, to keep up. One night, I was stitching up a patient in ear, my hands trembling from exhaustion. The patient, a kind, older woman with a broken arm, noticed. You okay, honey? She asked, her voice soft. I smiled and said I was fine. But I wasn't. I just sent Lily $600 for a mandatory networking event that turned out to be a weekend trip with her sorority friends. Another time, I worked through a snowstorm to fix a hospital generator, my fingers numb, only to send the overtime pay to cover Lily's phone bill, which she'd forgotten to pay for 3 months. Sarah kept me grounded. She'd share stories of her own crazy shifts, like the patient who offered her exposure on social media instead of payment for a home health visit. Did you tell him the hospital takes TikTok views for the electric bill? I joked, laughing for the first time in days. Those moments splitting cheap pizza, trading stories were my only break from the grind of work and Lily's endless needs. Last Christmas, I drove to Lily's college apartment to drop off gifts I'd bought. With my holiday bonus, her place was decked out new furniture, a flat-screen TV, a fridge stocked with organic snacks and energy drinks. My car, a 2010 Honda Civic with 200,000 miles, was leaking oil. But I couldn't afford the $1,800 repair. Lily barely said thanks, just rambled about her business plan and how she was networking with real entrepreneurs. She didn't ask about my job, even though I just worked a 72-hour week to cover her rent. I noticed her apartment's heater was acting up, making a rattling noise. I can call someone to check that, I offered. She waved me off. It's fine, my landlord will deal with it. I drove home, the Civic's engine whining, feeling like a guest in my sister's life. The breaking point came 6 months ago. Lily called, asking for $5,000 to start her business. Some vague e-commerce idea selling overpriced skincare products. I'd already given her over $25,000 over the year's rent, tuition, car payments, random emergencies. My knee was getting worse, and I'd started getting migraines from the stress of constant overtime. When does it end, Lily? I asked, my voice shaking. She got defensive. You're supposed to support me, Emily. That's what family does. I'm building something big. And you're just stuck in your little nurse job. Her words stung, but I held firm. I need time to think, I said, hanging up. That night, Sarah came over with a bottle of cheap wine. You're not her ATM, she said, pouring me a glass. You've given her enough. Let her figure it out. I knew she was right, but saying no felt like betraying the promise I'd made to Grandma. Still, I did it. I texted Lily. I can't give you the $5,000. You're on your own for this one. She didn't reply. For weeks, she went radio silent. No calls, no texts. I thought maybe she was finally stepping up. Then came the launch party. I saw photos flooding our family group chat, catered food, fairy lights, a 3-tiered cake with future CEO written in cursive. Aunt Clara, who'd taken Lily and after Grandma died, posted on Facebook. So proud of my niece Lily launching her empire. The event was at Rosewood Manor, Willow Creek's fanciest venue, where our cousin's wedding had been held. I scrolled through the photos. Uncle Tom, cousins, even our elderly great-aunt from Ohio, all smiling, toasting Lily's success. Not one of them had invited me. Not a text, not a call, nothing. I called Sarah, my voice tight. Am I overreacting? She didn't hesitate. You paid for her life, Emily, and they didn't even invite you. That's not family. That's disrespect. I couldn't let it go. I threw on my cleanest scrubs and a pair of jeans, my only nice outfit, and drove to Rosewood Manor. The place was lit up like a dream, with valet parking and guests in designer clothes stepping out of shiny cars. I parked my Civic myself, ignoring the valet's confused look. At the entrance, a security guard stopped me. This is a private event, he said, eyeing my scrubs. I'm Lily's sister, I replied. He raised an eyebrow but went inside to check. I stood there for 15 minutes, watching people arrive. People I recognized from helping Lily move into her dorm. People I'd driven to the airport when they visited her. A woman in a cocktail dress approached me. Asterisk. Are you here to fix the AC? The manager said someone was coming. I shook my head. I'm Lily's sister. Finally, Lily appeared, flanked by Aunt Clara and Uncle Tom. She was in a tailored blazer, holding a glass of wine, her face a mix of annoyance and embarrassment. You don't need to be here, she told the guard, barely glancing at me. Aunt Clara stepped forward, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. Emily, dear, this is a networking event for Lily's investors. We didn't want any complications. I stared at her, my blood boiling. I paid her rent for 3 years. I covered her tuition, her car, her everything. I'm the complication. Lily rolled her eyes. You always make it about you. You're just jealous because I'm building something bigger than your little nurse job. Her words hit like a punch to the gut. 3 years of skipped vacations, ignored doctor's visits, and ramen dinners so she could chase her dreams. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just said, good luck, Lily, and turned to leave. As I walked back to my car, I passed a group of her friends, all in expensive suits and dresses. One of them, a guy named Jake who I'd helped move furniture for during Lily's freshman year, recognized me. Hey, you're Lily's sister, right? She's killing it tonight. You must be so proud. He had no idea I'd funded the killing it. I nodded, my throat tight, and kept walking. The drive home was a blur, just the whine of my Civic's engine and the weight of realization settling in. I'd spent years believing I was doing the right thing, that helping Lily was my duty, that she'd appreciate it someday. But she didn't. None of them did. When I got home, Sarah was waiting, a 6-pack of soda on a table. How'd it go? She asked, reading my face. I'm done, I said, my voice steady for the first time in weeks. I opened my laptop and got to work. I canceled every scheduled payment to Lily rent, phone, car loan. I contacted her landlord, removing myself as guarantor on her lease. Thankful I'd insisted on an out clause when I signed. I emailed her supplier, clarifying I wasn't part of her business. Sarah watched, nodding. You're finally free, Emily. The fallout came fast. At 6 a.m. the next morning, Lily was banging on my door, still in her party clothes, her face pale with panic. What the hell are you doing? She demanded. The bank called about the car payment. You can't just cut me off. I stayed calm. You're 24, Lily. You have a business degree. Figure it out. She tried everything. Guilt, threats, even fake tears. You're ruining my life. I have investors, a reputation, she shouted. I didn't budge. You called me a jealous. Nobody in front of everyone. You made your choice. Her eyes widened. You heard that? I nodded. Your friend Jake posted your speech on Instagram, tagged everyone. My sister's just a nurse. Good for a handout, but not much else. Real classy, Lily, she stammered. It was a joke. Don't be so sensitive. But I was done. It's not about sensitivity. It's about respect. You don't get to use me anymore. She switched tactics, her voice softening. And Claire and Uncle Tom can't cover my rent. They're not young anymore. Is that what you want? I left, bitter. They managed to throw you a party at Rosewood Manor with an open bar and catering. They'll figure something out. She stood there, speechless, then stormed out, slamming the door. Sarah, who'd crashed on my couch to be there for the fallout, emerged from the bedroom. You handled that like a pro, she said, handing me a soda. What's next? I contacted a lawyer the afternoon, compiling every text and email where Lily or Aunt Claire acknowledged the money I'd given as loans. Not gifts, the total, $27,800. We drafted a demand letter for repayment. They probably won't pay, the lawyer warned. That's fine, I said. I just want it on record. 3 days later, the dominoes started falling. A supplier, Horizon Beauty, called me about an unpaid invoice, saying Lily had listed me as her financial backer. I'm not involved. I told them I'm not covering anything. 10 minutes later, Lily texted, "What did you tell my supplier?" I didn't respond. A week later, her car was repossessed. Her business, a shaky drop shipping scheme for overpriced skincare, collapsed when suppliers cut her off. And Clara called, sobbing, "Lily's moving back in with us. Her credit's ruined." How could you do this? I didn't answer. I was done explaining. I'd been offered a head nurse position in Seattle 3 times, but I turned it down because it meant leaving Lily. Now, I called my boss and accepted. The job came with a $30,000 raise, full benefits, and a company car. 2023 Toyota RAV4. I sold my apartment, packed my life into a U-Haul, and left Willow Creek. Sarah helped me move, taping up boxes and cracking jokes to keep me grounded. You're an orphan now, she teased. Time to live for you. Now, at 32, I live in a 2-bedroom apartment overlooking Puget Sound. My mornings start with coffee on the balcony, the sun glinting off the water. No urgent texts from Lily interrupting the quiet. My knees finally getting physical therapy, and my migraines are fading. Sarah flew out last month, bringing parts for the Camaro, which she kept in her garage. We spent a weekend finishing it new Highland green paint, a rebuilt engine. A deep rumble when it started. We took it for a drive along the coast. The wind in our hair. Metallica blasting from the speakers. "This is yours, Emily," Sarah said, grinning. "No one can take it away." Lily's business went bankrupt, and Claire and Uncle Tom remortgaged their house to cover her debts. They've been asking family for my new number, but I only gave it to Uncle Tom. "You did the right thing, kid," he texted. They made their bed. I bought a small rental property near the university, an investment I could have made years ago if I hadn't been pouring money into Lily's life. Some weekends, I drive the Camaro through the mountains, the road twisting under my tires, no weight on my shoulders. Other times, it sits in a garage 3 blocks away while I focus on work or my new property. I think about the years I spent trying to buy Lily's love, the promise I kept to a fault, but mostly I think about how free I am now. I'm not her ATM anymore. I'm Emily Carter, building a life that's mine.